Getting it on. There we go.
Yeah, it looks like it just went live, and we are going
Perfect.
to go ahead and I'm going to do a quick share screen. We'll do just 1 minute here. Come on. Oh, here it is. Welcome to Love and Money Secrets TV. I'm your host, Dame Lillian Walker, and today we have the pleasure to have Yogi Bryan with us. And we thank you for tuning in, tapping in, and turning on today. And Yogi Bryan, I'm so excited to have you on today and for you to share with us some of the wonderful body and mind transformation meditations, techniques, and yogi secrets that you have accumulated over your entire lifespan. So thank you for showing up here.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, thanks for having me on. Yeah, I am honored to be on the show.
Well, I'm honored to have you as well. So before we dive in deep into our subject matter, all of us were born somewhere, someplace at some time, right? And since a lot of us don't know a lot of where you came from, where you grew up, I would love for you to, before we dive into the nuts and bolts of this, would you tell us, where were you born? Did you come from a family, a large family, or are you an only child? So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure, yeah. So I was born and raised in the Phoenix, Arizona area. So I'm a native here. So I've lived here. I I have a younger brother. He's 5 years younger than me. So we grew up playing competitive golf. So like that's what we did growing up. I wasn't a yogi until about seriously about 2016. So it's a newer thing for me. But yeah, golf was something that just I grew up with. My brother grew up with. It was a family thing, and it kind of impacted my practice in yoga and meditation. Like now with what I learned then. So yeah, I'm a Phoenix, Arizona native. I'm used to it being hot all the time. If it gets below 70 degrees, I'm freezing. So yeah, that's a little bit about me, background.
Okay, and so tell us, how did you come about? First of all, it sounds like you're born and raised in Arizona. So how did you come upon the spiritual practice of being a yogi, and how did you come into union with meditation, where you decided one day, this sounds interesting, I'm going to try it, don't know much about it? Because I think all of us, when we dive into the practice of meditation, we've heard of the word meditation plenty of times, and we have different paradigms as to what that actually means to us. But when we first start, we really don't know what we're doing. And then we quickly, come to the realization that clearing the mind of thoughts and so forth is a little more challenging. It's like now 30 seconds is a really long time. So tell us how you came to become aware of meditation, and what prompted you to try it for yourself?
Yeah, thank you. Love that question. Yeah, I really my yoga meditation journey was an accident. I created an Instagram account just to make fun of yoga back in 2016, just to make fun of yoga. And I didn't know much about yoga. I was inspired because I saw one of my friends on Instagram. She was doing a yoga challenge for her studio, and she was doing yoga poses each day in different places of her house, like on her bed, kitchen table, counter, random places. I thought it was ridiculous. I thought this was is this what yoga's about on Instagram, doing these challenges? So I started an Instagram account just to make fun of it. And I was doing my own poses and, having some puns with it and just having fun with it. And it became popular after a couple weeks. So I decided I should join a studio to make fun of yoga more. So I'm going to join a yoga studio to learn yoga, learn the poses. so I can at least have better jokes to make fun of the practice. And once I went to the studio, I started practicing. I fell in love with yoga. It changed my whole body. It changed my mind. And it just changed my whole outlook. And as I practiced yoga, I really got into meditation because, it was an accident getting into the yoga practice. I started seeing the physical benefits. I saw some mental benefits, but really the physical benefits, lost some weight, feeling better. And then I just, as I practiced more and more, I realized it was more of like a meditation practice. He's one of my favorite teachers. His name is Bryan. He's out of Santa Monica, I believe, California. Bryan, Power Yoga. I went to his master class here in Phoenix. He was at a studio here in Phoenix, went to his master class. It was a 3-hour class. I figured I'd be doing like 3 hours of yoga straight, physical, like I'm going to sweat, like it's going to be power yoga. And the majority of the class, like I think an hour and a half of the class was just him talking about his meditation journey of Vipassana and how that really helped him. And then that's really what just triggered me, like getting into meditation. I told myself I'm going to meditate for 90 days straight. And no matter what, I'm going to do it. And then after that, I don't know, like if I'll continue it. I just committed to 90 days because I really wanted to meditation practice. And I didn't really see any benefits. I didn't like it until day 77 of my 90 days. So it was like it's been like a long journey to like meditation. And I love meditation now. I do it at least 20 minutes a day. I have a meditation podcast. I go to David Snyder classes, see you, just because my meditation practice got me to hypnosis. So crazy.
Wow. So, I always tell people that no experience is wasted. And you just proved the point so beautifully and so eloquently, because the universe, God, the creator, the great I am, knows exactly what it is that we need. And so it looks like he put that Instagram, account on your radar because he wanted to grab your conscious awareness to bring you to this point. And even if it meant you mocking someone that was going to cause you to get on the journey to self-exploration and self-mastery, because that's really what meditation is. I'm an advanced student of Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he tells us.
I love that.
Yeah. And he tells us that the word meditation actually means to know thyself. And that's what meditation is. And so, our creator knows that we, as humans, we get conditioned and we get changed and we get morphed, if you will, based on whatever our environment and society is, our parents, our relatives, our neighbors, our schoolyard friends, et cetera, our society, the TV, whatever it is that we're exposed to. And we get farther and farther away from being heart-centered because the ego starts to rule the roost. And so, of course, mom and dad are responsible for us until we're 18. But after that, you can't say it's mommy and daddy's fault because now you're a grown-up. And so now it's a matter, that's true for every human being. So now it's like you take responsibility for you. And guess what? It's on each individual to get to know yourself and realize, I need to get to the heart of the matter. When I get to the end of my journey or the end of my road, I can't go, when I shake off the meat suit and now I'm just pure spirit form and I'm going back to my creator. I can't say, oh, mommy and daddy said, or I did what mommy and daddy and grandma and grandpa and great grandma and nana, going back 1,000 years, just because that's what, I'm not here to be a marionette. So I only take responsibility for me. So this is very exciting to hear. So what was your first aha? Because to go from making fun of and mocking and saying, this is silly, it's like, yoga poses, a kitchen counter, on a floor, and all these different places, to let me investigate this. What was your first aha after you started investigating?
Yeah, it started a little bit before. I had little dabbles of like aha moments in my practice. When I was playing competitive golf, like once I got to a certain point with how how I hit the ball and how I competed. Like it was really just a mind game because everybody else like had a good swing. Everybody else can hit the ball just the same. Like we're all pretty good physically. It's just whoever just had the best like mental game, you know? So like one of the things that like I had to tell myself over and over again when I used to play golf, I told myself like stay in the present and commit to the process. So stay in the present of what I'm doing. Like I'm focusing on this one golf shot. Like that's all I'm focusing on right now, like walking to my shot. And then so stay in the present. I can't think about what happened to my last shot. I can't think about what's happening in the next hole or my next shot. Like, so stay in the present and then committing to the process. So stay in the present, commit to the process, like over and over again. I would just tell myself that like a mantra, like an affirmation. I didn't know anything about yoga practice or affirmation or mantras at this time, but yeah, that really helped. So like it just kept me in the present moment. And I didn't make that up. I read it in a book called Golf is Not a Game of Perfect. I forgot the author, but I read it in that book. Like it was just say those two things. And I didn't realize like that was mindfulness. Like that was being in the present moment. And like in order to like maximize whatever you're doing, no matter what you're doing, if you're playing golf or you're listening to someone, you're on a podcast or you're meditating or you're doing yoga, like just being in the present is like pretty much enlightenment right there. So anyways, that like really stuck with me. And then I just like I didn't play golf after college. I was just like finding something, and like I dabble with yoga. Yoga helped me out with a couple like physical things. I had plantar's foot, and yoga really helped get me back from like plantar's fasciitis. Like downward dog, I guess, is like amazing for all your tendons in your feet, and yoga is like amazing for all your tendons in your feet and your hands. So I just like had some dabbles of like practice yoga here and there. But yeah, it wasn't until I created that account to make fun of yoga. And my aha moments were in meditation. My aha moment in meditation was I went to a hour-long new moon quantum jump meditation at the studio I was doing my yoga teacher training at. I think I just finished teacher training. It was an hour-long new moon quantum. You're going to jump to a different dimension in this meditation because you use the power from the new moon. And I wasn't really meditating at the time. Like I was just like, okay, we'll see what's going to happen. And I went to this meditation and I was like deep in this meditation. I was in a different dimension. I saw myself in a different dimension. I was half man, half lion. I didn't know the meaning of it. I had no clue. And then I ended up, part of the meditation is you see yourself walking towards yourself, and then it's your future self, and you talk to your future self, and you get wisdom. And my future self like just told me just like work hard, just work hard, just make sure you're like working hard. And I didn't realize where like the lion symbol or like a half man, half lion. After that, I was questioning that. And I ended up finding like a Vedic astrology chart. And I put in like my date of birth and I put in like the exact time of when I was born. And my deity was Narasimha, which is the god of protection. He's half man, half lion. So it's just crazy synchronicities. I know it's probably like a long story, probably like talking too much, but yeah, it was just that was my most powerful meditation moment. And I was like, wait, something's powerful in meditation. Like I just went out of body, different dimensions. Like this is trippy. Yeah.
So that's when you discover that there's a lot more than what meets the eye. There's more to the three dimension, that there's untapped realms in the 5 dimension, which is it's a conscious, I'm kind of being careful with my words because sometimes words can be misconstrued, but it's a conscious tapping into the subconscious where you are really, no one, nobody, nowhere, no thing, no place, and no time, which is what Dr. Joe talks about, because you're not identified as this human, flesh and blood. your conscious awareness.
Yes.
That way you're not attached to the things that makes us trip in our humanity, is, you know, the cycle of repeating the past things that have not led us to things that we want necessarily. And until you figure out that lesson, then you realize, okay, now that I'm aware of these things, you can step out of, you know, like being on a hamster wheel, doing the same thing over and over again.
Oh, yeah.
So now you stepped into that quantum realm, which is the infinite, because God is infinite. God is not limited
Yes.
by any time, place, dimension. It's just infinite. So you were able to, it's fascinating that you were able to recognize that you saw yourself in a different dimension of reality, which you recognized was your future self. And it's so funny because there's so many parallels. Like Dr. David talks about this a little bit, and Dr. Joe also talks a little bit about this, but how as you start to go down investigating further in meditation and conscious awareness, you also start to study, you know, hypnosis and self-hypnosis. You start to study different spiritual, you know, there's the Gnostic teachings of Christ in, I'm going to say Judeo-Christian values, because not even Jesus was not a Christian. You know, he was Jewish, and he was the founder, if you will, of Christianity and the Son of God. But he didn't call himself a Christian, you know. So, but the ancient mystical teachings that were really only reserved for the most scholarly, you know, at the time. As you start to study all these different things, you start to realize it doesn't matter if it's, you know, Christianity, Catholicism, Judaism, Buddhism, Taoism, any ism for that matter, spiritualism, they all kind of like dovetail together, where they all kind of become one. And you start to realize, wait a minute, there's something that's inherent to all of these that has to do with a thread of truth inside all of us.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. So tell me about what prompted you next to start your YouTube channel. You know, I know that you have a lot of really great meditations. You've got some really great interviews, but you really have some really cool content on body and mind transformation. So what was the inkling, or what was the impetus for you to pull the trigger on that and say, okay, I'm gonna do this?
Yeah. So the YouTube, it's just been consistency. You know, it's really like, for me, once I got clear with like what my mission was in terms of what I'm trying to do or what I'm doing with yoga and meditation, like it just, everything else seemed to fall into place. I mean, my mission is to share the practice of yoga and meditation in a humorous way so people can develop a healthy body, peaceful mind. So like when I do that on my YouTube, I you know, there's times where I've gotten so caught up with what content I should make or what I should do, or like what niche I should be in, or, you know, oh, if I make this video, it's going to be off brand, which I stick to brand, you know, yoga meditation, you know, pretty much. But I, I just like try and do like as consistent as possible on YouTube. Like, you know, if there's any way like I can make content somewhere else and like record it, I recorded a lot of classes during the pandemic, so then I just put those on YouTube, and then those grew. I had you know, I had a lot of questions with like a microphone setup that I was using, so I was getting a lot of DMs on Instagram. So then I just ended up making a video for YouTube of everything that I used. It took me like 15 minutes. It wasn't high tech or anything like that. And that's been one of my most popular YouTube videos. It gets like consistent views, and I have links to, you know, what links to those products too. So like I get a little credit on that. So yeah, it's just really like listening to my audience. It's one thing, is like listening to what people like about my content. Like I like making people laugh. Like I know that's my strength. I love yoga, I love meditation, and I love sharing my practice. So if I can just do that, like normally it's going to go well.
So this is really interesting because you talked a little bit about the synchronicity of you seeing yourself as half man, half lion. And, you then followed the thread of, I don't know how you came up with, I think you said Vedic astrology. Was that what you said?
Yes.
Okay. So that you looked up, I don't even know how you would know to look up Vedic astrology. I'm horoscope, all that stuff. I'm kind of very ignorant on that stuff, but somehow you decided to look up based on your birthday and your time of birth, your exact time of birth. And how serendipitous that it would bring you to information that revealed this lion. That's obviously serendipitous and coincidental. Mm-hmm. And I just want to point out that coincidental is most people don't realize that coincidences, it's an actual math term originally, which means 2 points in space and time that join together. That's what a coincidence is. And that's exactly what happened to you. You had 2 points in time, you had your meditative state, and now another in a different time and space and dimension, you became aware of this Vedic astrology information, and they coincided where they both had this common denominator of the lion, which has to do with something, within your inner being.
Yeah.
So my question to you, because we're talking about signs, symbols, and synchronicity, would be, what are some of the signs, symbols, and synchronicity that you noticed once you started your YouTube channel?
Yeah, once I started my YouTube channel, well, it just hit 1,000 subscribers like a few months ago, which I've had the YouTube channel for a while, and it's been one of my slowest growing platforms compared to most of my other platforms. So synchronicities with YouTube is just, it's really listening to the universe. It's listening to people. Like the majority of my subscribers, the majority of how I grew my YouTube is a few videos. And those few videos were literally me like listening, and just, I was getting a lot of questions, and it just was easier for me to make a YouTube video because everybody likes to go to YouTube and just find a video on how it can help them do something, whether it's meditating or yoga or how to make money or something. Like YouTube's like the #1 platform. Like all other social medias want YouTube's viewership. So it's like, once I had those people asking me so many times of like, hey, what microphone do you have? What microphone do you have? It was just easier for me to make a video, and it's easier for people. People are searching for it. People are asking for it. And when people ask me now, I just give them my YouTube video, and then they can watch it. So it's just easy. Yeah, it just helps everybody out, helps me out, and then helps them out.
Yeah, it's so interesting because you hit the nail on the head. It sounds like you're paying attention and listening. You're listening to what your viewers want. And if they're asking you repeatedly a question, well, there's no need for you to respond individually each time, because there's plenty of for every person who asks a question, there's probably 10 or 15 more who have that question, but haven't taken the time to write and ask it. So by virtue of you answering it, and if you have multiple people asking you, then that's a sign to answer with video, because people, sometimes they'll ask a question, they'll get your response, and then they're like, what was it that he said? And if they had a video, they'd watch it again.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So they'd look it up, or they're a subscriber of yours, so they go into your channel and they look for the answer. Oh, that's right. Oftentimes they'll watch a video 2, 3, 4, 5 times to really get what it was that you said.
Yeah.
Move on. And so just listening, which is the skill that we need in meditation, to listen to our true inner voice, and then to listen to, the universe speaks to us in many ways. And one of those ways is the viewers that are telling you, I got a question about this. I got a question about that. So with that being said, what's the #1 question regarding meditation that people ask you?
People ask me, or they tell me that, they tried meditating and they just can't quiet their mind. They tried meditating, and it's like, they tried one time, or they tried for a week or a couple of days, and then they stopped. And like that question, it's like, if you stay with it, like for me, meditation's awareness. Like it's just pure, it's awareness for
Exactly.
me. Like just being aware. And then there's so many different meditations you can do, but if you like focus on a couple, but yeah, it's awareness and just listening. And then it's such like an unlock for people. Like if you don't meditate, like I'm saying, like if you did meditate, you would find so many answers and like hear so many things and see so many things that you just don't see right now because you're just not listening. You're just not aware of, some of the things, just even sitting and just, listening to what's going on in your mind, just paying attention to what those thoughts are. They're listening to the sounds.
Well,
We miss so much. I mean,
we do. There's so much that we're not aware of, that until awareness is the first step to everything. Awareness. And
yes.
when you started counting, retelling us about your history of having been a golfer, and how you had the practice of telling yourself, which as soon as you said it, I thought, oh my gosh, he was meditating. And when you first said you were a golfer, I thought, well, in order to be a good golfer, you have to be very present. You have to be very much in that mindset of staying conscious and not letting your ego take you over. And you get frustrated because you didn't get that putt or your long drive that was supposed to be. It was a short drive or ends up fairway or the pond, or my husband was a scratch golfer, so
okay.
And I'm a duffer golfer. I'm not a I love the 19th hole, when you
oh yeah,
margaritas afterwards.
That's the best hole.
Yeah, I break 100 but on 9 holes, not 18.
Yeah.
So I'm very aware that you have to be, the reason why people who do well at golf are the ones who don't throw their golf club when they miss a shot or when they don't do as well. They stay very calm, very centered. And I love what you said. You said commit to the process, and golf is not a game of perfect. It's just commit to the process. And you just stay in the present and commit to the process and stay in the present. And that was your, you didn't use the label of mantra. And that's where, I think the number one thing that viewers can take away from this show is, I forget the word mantra, forget the word meditation, forget all these labels. Of course we need to bring up labels so that we can come to agreement that a mantra is basically an affirmation. It's the same thing. It's no different than taking a scripture from the Bible and repeating that over and over and over again. Or taking a scripture from the Torah, or from the Quran, or a Taoist text, or from any, ancient spiritual writing. But the point is, it's something that you say that is a positive thing that will bring you to a present state of a conscious awareness that will allow more love and light in, as opposed to letting you go towards the fear and the darkness that takes power away from you. Because staying in the love and the light gives you power, and going towards fear, shame, guilt, anger, frustration, annoyance, irritation, all those, if we look at the Hawkins scale of vibrational frequencies, love is at 528, joy is at 600 hertz. And if you look at fear, resentment, doubt, shame, guilt, all of those are fear starting at 100 hertz, and everything that I mentioned that are negative emotions, they're under 100 hertz. So frustration, irritation, annoyance, that's like 50 hertz. So think about how low a frequency you are. How you're off by over 450 hertz from that point to love. So by your staying committed to the process, and you stay in the present, I'm staying in the present, I'm staying in the present. You have your focus, you know where you want the ball to go, you hit it. That's no different than our everyday lives. It's like, okay, focus on the end result. Where is it that you want to be 6 months from now? Where is it that you want to be a year from now? 36 months goes by like this. So decide where you want to be 36 months from now, 60 months from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And as you keep your eye on the goal, and okay, so you have a crappy moment, Just because you have a crappy moment because of whatever the excuse might be, doesn't mean you have to have a crappy morning, a crappy afternoon, and crappy evening. You don't have to write off the rest of your day.
Exactly.
Through meditation, in a minute, you can turn yourself around, or, you know, we're fortunate that we also have self-hypnosis under our.
Yeah, exactly.
You can kind of combine the two, and in just a couple minutes, or not even a minute or two, you can turn that around and reset yourself so you stay in the present. Whatever that thing was, it's already in the past. It's no longer here. And I know that there's neuroscientists have actually proven that when you have a negative emotion, that the chemicals from anger, from fear, from whatever, you know, irritation, frustration, annoyance, shame, guilt, you name it, that only stays in your blood for 90 seconds.
Interesting.
90 seconds. So if you're staying in anger, fear, shame, guilt, resentment, annoyance, irritation, any of those things for longer than 90 seconds, you're faking it. What you're doing is you're faking it, and you're focusing on it, recreating it every 90 seconds over and over again. So do you really need to draw that out and waste five minutes of your life?
Right.
A day, a week, a month? No. We can go, okay, crap. Okay, I had a bad moment. You know, I'm not a saint, so I'm not saying that I can master this in 90 seconds, but I could probably master it in 2, where I decide, okay, this doesn't feel good. Let me focus on the breath, because that's what meditation is. You focus on the breath. The fastest way to meditation. And as you do that, you can decide different practices. I tell people, if you just take your hand and you stare at it, that's a meditation. You stare
right? Yeah, exactly.
I go, now that I'm staring at it, I feel, and I notice my little pinky finger, I feel the energy there. And I feel the blood going to my pinky finger, and I'm not aware of the rest of the hand, but I'm aware of the pinky finger. And as I just bring awareness to each finger, it's funny how I also start to notice the feeling on my nail beds, which a second ago I wasn't. Well, the mind can't think of 2 things at once. So whatever I was upset, angry, frustrated, irritated, or annoyed about, that's in the past. Now my awareness is here. I'm at least at neutral. From neutral, now it's not that big of a leap. Go from neutral. So I went from 100 hertz, let's say fear, or let's give you the benefit of the doubt, not say we were 50 or 25 hertz, we're 100 hertz. Okay, so now we're going to neutral, 300-400. Let me get myself up to a loving feeling. Well, I got to tell you, I love my fingers, especially when I'm aware of somebody who doesn't have a hand. Worse yet, they don't have an arm. Maybe they don't have anything from the shoulder down. Guess what? I absolutely adore my hands. And okay, maybe my hands are not the most beautiful hands I've seen in the world, but they're beautiful enough. And it's mine. And I'm so glad, because with my hand, if I only had 1 hand instead of 2, my life would be much different. And so it puts you in a place of appreciation and gratitude. Just something as simple as that. And we all have our hands wherever we go.
Exactly.
So it's like a simple thing to just focus on your hand.
Yeah, and it brings you back to the present moment when you're doing that. You know, you're just here and now. You know, it's like the best thing for anxiety, just breathing and come back to the present moment.
Yeah, breathing and coming back to the present moment.
Yes.
So I wanted to talk to you also about what did it feel like when we were in our class with Dr. David? You know, I had the opportunity to do some face reading on you, and because I'm an advanced practitioner of that Oriental medicine practice to face read you. So I know a lot of people have never heard of it, don't know, you know, it's not on their radar. They're not aware that this is an aspect of Oriental medicine that is available. So I wanted for you, from the receiver's perspective, for you to kind of give some of your impressions, what you thought, what you felt, and just the thoughts that went through your mind as, you know, it's kind of like peeling the layers of an onion, you know, as things are revealed, and I'm asking you questions as I'm doing this.
Well, yeah, it was really good. Like it was so spot on. There was I don't know, there's like a couple things in the eyes that you talked about. I don't know exactly what one was, like circulation or something.
Yeah.
Um, and then I forgot, like there was like the journey lines or
Yeah.
whatnot.
Yeah. On the video here, it's kind of harder to tell, but in person, I could
Hmm.
tell that you had some life lessons like that were completed in your 20s.
Oh, okay, life lessons.
Yeah, you had life lessons that were, yeah, because a lot of people don't have their life lessons completed. But yours,
Mm.
if I recall, you had two or three. I'm like, whoa, you had 2, 3 life lessons. I know I've seen people who are 50, 60 years old, 70 years old, and their life lessons still aren't completed. And so it's like, wow, you have 3 life lessons. I'm like, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I've been married twice, so probably there's two. There's two of those life lessons right there. That's
Probably, yeah.
yeah. No, but yeah, it was a great experience. Like I yeah, I loved it.
Wow.
It was amazing.
Very, very, very cool. Um, Let me ask you if what's the number one thing when people come to your YouTube channel? What is your intention? The number one thing that you want them to walk away with as they explore your channel, listen to whether it's one or many of your videos?
Yeah, I just want them to feel better or just feel good. You know, from whatever they were coming to. Yeah, I just want them to laugh, feel good, change their state.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's probably the quickest, easiest route to changing their state and feeling good again.
Yeah, yeah. Just I mean, yoga meditation helps me out so much, like mentally and physically. So I love sharing it because I know a lot of people need it out there. You know, suffering or stressed out or sad or just not feeling good. You know, get your body moving with some yoga, and you can close your eyes and manifest whatever you want with your meditation and learn about yourself.
So, in terms of yoga, what is the number one thing that you feel that you benefited from? I know you mentioned that you were able to heal plantar fasciitis. I can honestly say
Hmm.
you're the first person that I speak to that healed plantar fasciitis with yoga. So,
Oh wow.
yeah, I took yoga for a few years myself, and I still practice a little bit of it. But so my question to you would be, what's the number one thing that you want, the average person that maybe isn't as well versed or familiar with yoga? What's the number one thing you want them to walk away with, knowing that yoga can provide for them?
Yeah, so yoga will just literally change your life if you stick with it. You know, it'll take you. It'll just basically, like, yoga is just the doorway. You know, even if you want to do it physically, you want to lose some weight or whatever you come into yoga for, it's just you're just opening a door into like a different dimension. And then as you practice more and feel better physically, you start to learn some of the spiritual practices and some of the meditation aspects of your practice. And then it's just like you keep opening those doors, you keep seeing things that you never even knew were like in the world, and things that you can manifest. So I would say it's yeah, if you want to change your life, just try to do yoga and stick with it. Even if you want to make fun of it, you can still change your life.
So it sounds like you are putting a call and an invitation to anyone who wants to make fun of yoga specifically, and or meditation or both. Come on board, because you might be pleasantly surprised to find out a lot more than what you bargained for, and it just might change your life the way it changed yours.
Exactly. 100%. 100%.
Well, Bryan, it's been an awesome time here, you sharing with us all these wonderful revelations. And thank you for being on the show today. And I'm sure we'll have you back. We're going to dive in deeper into some of these practices, and both, maybe even do a meditation.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I think it would be a really fun thing to do. And even if you have an integrative meditation / yoga practice that we could share with our viewers, I think it would be fun. I think it would be fun, and it would be also beneficial. And I know that they say that a flexible body is the sign of a flexible mind. So
yes,
one of the reasons why you want to do yoga is to keep your flexibility. And
yeah,
with the flexibility of the body, as you increase your flexibility, you're going to get rid of your rigidity, and you are also going to expand your mind, because your awareness is going to go as you stretch those different body parts. You can't
exactly.
but notice and be aware of those spots, because at first
Yeah,
it's, oh, wait a minute, that's a little stiffer than I
right.
last time. You're like, okay, I really got to work on, stretching
Yeah,
this. And just like anything else, if you golfed just one day and the first day you quit, you would have never become a good golfer. You would have never got to the level where you could have played golf in college. And the same thing is true with yoga and meditation. Anything that's worthwhile, you have to keep at it, being persistent and consistent.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're just consistent with anything. Yeah, and you can put your socks on better if you practice yoga more. Just a lot more easier.
Into old age.
Yeah.
I'm going to share screen. I just want to show our YouTube viewers and our Facebook Live and anyone who's tuning in here. I want to show them your, let's see, I'm going to show your YouTube channel so that they see it here. And here it is.
There it is.
Yogi Bryan, we've got you here. We've got a lot of really cool things on your YouTube channel, and make sure you hit the subscribe button. And
yes,
if you subscribe to Love and Money Secrets TV, now would be a good time for you to do that with the algorithm and all sorts of other things. So I think we're going to conclude the show. Let me see if I can get back to, stop screen share. And so I just want to thank you again. And I think it's appropriate to say namaste. And then
namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, Lily. Thank you.
See you soon. Ciao for now.
See ya. Bye.